Hey, I'm John Cannell, and today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making a crisp and airy focaccia from my new book, Preppy Kitchen Super Easy. So let's get started. First off, warm 2 cups or 480 mils of water till it's about 100 or 110 degrees. Pour that into a large bowl. I'm also adding 1/4 ounce package of active dry yeast. You don't want to use instant yeast for this. To give our yeast something to eat, 1 tablespoon of honey. You could also use sugar if you wanted. This is honey from our beehives, by the way. It's so good. Scale's done. Give this a good mix. If you haven't had homemade focaccia, you are missing out. Crisp, basically fried dough from all that olive oil. It's golden and beautiful on the outside. The inside is moist, airy, and just so fluffy and melt in your mouth. It's really good. We're gonna set this aside for about 5 minutes until it's nice and foamy. If it doesn't foam up, you have to start over. That means your yeast have gone bad and your bread will not be fluffy. In the meantime, let's measure out our dry ingredients. Now, in a separate cup, we're gonna measure out 5 cups of flour or 600 grams. You could do this all in one bowl, but today I'm stepping it out for you. And by the way, I am so excited to be sharing recipes for my new book, Preppy Kitchen Super Easy. As my sons Lachlan and George have grown up, life has just gotten busier, and I have even less time to get delicious food on the table, but it's still a priority for me. So that really spurred me to create this book where it's purely easy, fast recipes that are gonna be delicious and beautiful too. It's full of fan favorites like delicious chocolate chip cookies, crisp and gooey orange chicken, and the list goes on, but everything is just so fast and so easy, and it's really gonna be your key to getting delicious things on the table quickly. Grab a copy of the book. There's links in the description box below. I'm also adding in 1 tablespoon of salt right now. This is what's gonna let you taste the focaccia. If you don't have salt inside and on top, it's not gonna be as delicious. For added flavor, you can mix in your favorite herbs. Today I'm gonna use about 1 tablespoon of thyme. If you loved oregano, you could use that. Italian seasoning, herb de Provence, the list goes on. Make this recipe your own. Grab a whisk and a copy of the book. Our scale's done. We're gonna mix this up. And I can also see that my yeast have risen while I was gabbing on, so I'm gonna add in my dry mixture now. I just fold it together with a spatula. This recipe comes together so quickly, and you can make this the night before and let the flavors really intensify, or make this as a one-day thing. And if you do either, it's gonna be delicious. If you do wanna bake this tomorrow, and by the way, that's a wonderful way to step things out when you don't have a lot of time, 12 to 18 hours covered in the fridge, and then let it come back to room temperature and rise. This is nicely mixed. There's no dry bits of flour left. And now, going back to that bowl I just used, the magic of focaccia comes from all the olive oil you'll be using. There's no other way that it could be crisp, golden, and just like so good. You're basically frying dough in olive oil because you're using so much of it. I'm gonna add in 4 tablespoons or 1/4 cup, 60 mils of olive oil right into my bowl. Transfer our focaccia dough. Gently turn our dough so it's totally covered in olive oil. In the book, this is called Build Your Own Focaccia because honestly, in my house, everyone likes different things, and that's fine. I'm not gonna force people to eat what they don't want. So this is a great way where everyone can have what they want. You can make this in 1 big sheet pan and divide it up, so part of it's plain, part of it has this topping or that topping or that topping, or you can make it in separate little cake pans, and everyone can kind of build their own, and it's a really fun experience. Cover this up 2 hours or until doubled in size in a nice, cozy place, or pop it into the fridge overnight. Your choice. My dough has risen beautifully. Look at that jiggle. Ooh, so nice. Now's the fun part. We're gonna lightly oil our clean hands, reach under the dough, lift up and pull. We're gonna do 4 turns. So turn it 90 degrees, lift and fold, 90 degrees, lift and fold, and 1 more turn, and lift it and fold. There we go. This just builds some structure. The dough does not need to be kneaded though. Now you have a choice. How will you bake this? You can do 1 9 by 13 inch pan. It's really easy. Top it however you'd like. Or you can do 2 9-inch rounds and divide the dough in half. I'm using 2 8-inch squares. It'll give you a really thick, beautiful focaccia. It is important to add olive oil into your pan because we really want this dough to basically fry in the pan. It's gonna give you that golden, crisp, like delicious taste. I'm choosing the smaller pans, so I'll divide the dough in half. And by the way, if you like these videos, hit that subscribe button. There's 2 new recipes every single week and always something delicious on the horizon. Okay, so we're gonna grab half of the dough now. Oh my gosh, this feels so good. Plop it right into your pan and repeat for the other half with your less attractive pan. We need to stretch our dough right now, so just pull it towards the edges of the pan. Chances are your gluten got a little bit riled up from the folding we did earlier, so it's gonna spring back or not go all the way to the edges, and that's okay. Our dough still has to do a second rise of 1 to 2 hours, and you're gonna stretch it just like this every half hour or so until it reaches the corners. After 1 hour, you're gonna wanna preheat your oven to 450 so it is screaming hot. I'm gonna let these guys hang out uncovered for their second rise. In the meantime, let's go over the toppings. I have several different flavor combinations in the book. I'm gonna show you my favorite ones right now. Thinly sliced yellow squash, some halved delicious cherry tomatoes, halved and pitted Kalamata olives. This dough rose and rose, and look at that bubble. Oh my gosh. I had to make sure to take a picture of it because it's so pretty. I'm gonna drizzle this with some olive oil now. More olive oil. Get your fingers a little oiled as well. And now we're going to press down, just like that. Just press straight down to create some divots. This will help your focaccia really bake evenly. I'm gonna toss this with about a tablespoon of olive oil. We're baking this at high heat, and I do not want the toppings to burn, so they need to be kind of nicely coated. I also have some crumbled feta here. I'm gonna add that in as well. Place it on hither and thither, it's really up to you. You wanna make sure everyone gets a delicious bite. I said this earlier, but one of my favorite things about the book, besides being super easy and getting meals on the table really quickly, is the variation. So you have tons of different things to try with each recipe. I really wanted people to be able to explore different flavors, make things as they like them, and use the book as a blueprint to kind of find freedom in the kitchen. Crumbled feta goes right on top, a sprinkle of fresh rosemary, and some Aleppo peppers or crushed red pepper. I'm repeating this process with my other focaccia, and I actually made a double batch so I could have 4 for the finished product. Olive oil goes on top, massage it in. Fingers right inside for those divots. If you want to leave one plain, just some flaked salt on top. For something unexpected but so delicious, try thinly sliced shallots with sliced strawberries tossed in balsamic and finished off with fresh basil. Artichoke hearts with sliced bell pepper, sliced red onion, some garlic, and fresh thyme, all tossed in a little bit of olive oil, makes for a delicious classic flavor. All topped up and ready to go into the oven, 450 for 20 to 25 minutes or until it's golden and beautiful. And I'm gonna show you how to keep it crisp when it comes out. In you go. Once your beautiful golden focaccia is out of the oven, let it cool for about 5 minutes so it's not screaming hot, but then remove it onto a wire rack. This, as you saw, is filled with moisture, but the outside is so golden and crisp, and we don't want it to steam in the pan. Just like when you're making a nice traditional cornbread, you want to get it out of the pan really quickly so that bottom stays nice and crisp, so you have a beautiful, crunchy, soft moment when you bite in. Your focaccia will last for up to 3 days in a sealed container or wrapped in plastic, just on the counter, or you can freeze it for up to 2 months. Just wrap it really well to avoid that freezer burn. Cut your focaccia as desired, and then it's ready to enjoy. Crunchy on the outside, so soft and pillowy on the inside, and I love the flavors. I hope you get a chance to make this recipe from my book, Preppy Kitchen Super Easy. There's links in the description box below to grab a copy, and if you like this video, check out my Preppy Kitchen Super Easy playlist.